Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. About half the work week in the rearview mirror. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Appreciate you being with us. Matthew Brune in 15 minutes. We'll talk LSU basketball, both men's and women's. What If Wednesday coming at you in 30 minutes. And then coming up at 2 o'clock, or so we think, Lane Kiffin will meet with the media for the first time since his introductory press conference as the head coach at LSU. I say so we think, not because I don't think he's going to show up. I think he'll be there. I just don't know when. I covered Les Miles in his weekly press conferences. These were always 30, 40 minutes late. Every time. Brian Kelly after practices, sometimes kind of late. But, like, Ed Ogeron was pretty much on time. Like, he ran short practices. He showed up where he was supposed to be when he was supposed to be there. I don't know about Lane Kiffin. Don't know a single thing. So we're going to take that press conference live when it happens. It is scheduled for 2 o'clock. Straight up 2 o'clock. I've got a feeling he won't be at the podium at 2 o'clock. That rarely happens. But they don't have practice or anything today. It's a situation where you're just addressing the quote-unquote signing class, portal class. Theoretically, he'd be in the building. He could walk down there and be there on time. But it remains to be seen. I don't know much about Lane Kiffin. So we'll see. 1 hour from now, supposed to take Lane Kiffin live. Looking forward to that. And we'll talk some baseball as well. We're going to start there as we do most days, and we'll do it as we do every day in our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
Because we've got Lane Kiffin coming up in the second hour, that's where I've been doing our position previews. We'll move that to the front of the line here on this Wednesday. And I'll talk baseball with you. I wrote third base this morning for LouisianaSports.net. That preview is up there right now on the homepage for free. And I'm very interested in third base this year. Not because I don't know who's going to be the starter on opening day. I'm very, very confident that's going to be Trent Caraway from Oregon State. But I'm curious how he's going to play. And I think there is a lot of curiosity and hopefulness, excitement in the LSU program about Trent Caraway. You know, last year, Jay Johnson made a decision in the middle of March. He decided that Tanner Reeves wasn't quite getting it done defensively at third base, and they were going to go with Michael Braswell. And they rode with Michael Braswell all the way through the national championship, and he hit 189. He had 10 sacrifice bunts and 8 extra base hits. He stole no bases. So Michael Braswell was giving you no power, no speed, and no batting average. But he gave you defense. And that was imperative to Jay Johnson. I'll say this from my years watching and covering college baseball. I find third base to be the most impactful defensive position because most teams put a really good outfielder in center field. Most teams have a really good outfielder. He plays center field. Most teams have a really good defensive shortstop. But a lot of teams will put a bat at third base. And sometimes that will bite you because that bat, yeah, I can hit, but that's a tough position to play. You've got to field the ball cleanly. You've got to have a pretty good arm. You've got to be able to charge the ball. You've got to be able to backhand it, make a very long throw. You've got to be able to short hop the ball. You've got to have quickness. Like, when you get to the big leagues, they all do it. A lot of them are college shortstops. You get to college, like, it's iffy. And then I've called some high school games in my years, and high school infield defense is atrocious. But in college, I find that third base is the position where really good defense can differentiate. Again, a lot of folks have really good shortstops. Everybody's got a really good center fielder. Third base can be a differentiator. And last year, LSU used that. It said, look, we're going to put Michael Braswell there. And y'all saw it. He was brilliant against Coastal. He was brilliant against Arkansas. And that's what Jay Johnson prioritized. Now, I don't think anybody in the lineup this year is going to hit 189. And I can tell you Trent Caraway is going to hit more than 2 home runs, assuming he plays the season. But the thing that stood out to the LSU coaching staffs about Trent Caraway, and I talked to the staff after the fall was over, was that his defense was way better than they thought. He made 12 errors last year at Oregon State. And his defense was improved. I've watched some video of him. I saw him some in the fall. He looks comfortable over there. He's a natural third baseman. He's 6'2". He's 200 pounds. Like, he played shortstop in high school, but with his frame and his body size, like, he's a third baseman. When he gets drafted to play professional baseball after this year, he will be looked at as a corner infielder / corner outfielder. And the first place that you go there, if you can play some defense, is third base. And they think he can. And I think he won't be as good as Braswell. And this is the second position we've talked about defensively. I don't think they'll be as good at second or quite as good at third. But your hope is that if Trent Caraway can have the type of offensive season he is physically capable of, then you can allow a few more errors. You don't want him to make 15, but if he makes 10, you'll live. You don't want 10, but if he makes 10 and hits the way he can, you'll live. Y'all know by now the story on Trent Caraway from last season. He hit 5 home runs in the regional alone. Friday to Monday, 5 homers. He hit another one in the Super. That 6 home run stretch is the greatest home run stretch in the history of Oregon State baseball. He's the only player in the history of that program, and they've had some pretty good ones. Only player in the history of that program to hit 6 home runs in the postseason. But before that, he was a 255, 260 hitter with 6 homers. He did not have a good year at all. Now, if you turn the highlight tape on of Trent Caraway, it's on YouTube. It's like 1 minute, 30 seconds. You'll watch that and go, oh, wow. Because he's got monster power. It's to the pull side, but, I mean, he hits some majestic shots. And the ball doesn't always fly in Corvallis, Oregon. Doesn't always fly out on the West Coast. But he hits some prodigious shots. Now, also, Oregon State did not have a conference last year. So they were kind of looking for teams to play. And the competition he was playing was not SEC-level competition. So Jay Johnson brought Trent Caraway in this transfer portal class because he recruited Trent Caraway when he was the Gatorade Player of the Year coming out of California. That's a mouthful. To be the Gatorade Player of the Year coming out of California is a big deal. And he went to Oregon State, which at that point, a massive place to go to school, like one of the best programs in college baseball. Now I think they're going to take a step back because they don't have a conference. But he was a huge recruit. And Jay Johnson knew that then, and he's seen some of the production now. But when they took him in this fall, it was a fall to retool his offensive game. They're going to change the way he thinks about hitting, and they're going to change the way he swings at the baseball. And it showed in the fall. He did not have a monster fall. He wasn't lost. I wouldn't. That's too far to go. But he was working on things in the fall. The question is, how quickly do those things click? I think Kate Arambidi, I think you look at third base, obviously, with Caraway. So Arambidi and Caraway probably have the largest chasm from what their floor is to what their ceiling is. And I think that probably shows you how long LSU's lineup will or will not be. Like, York is going to hit a lot of line drives. He's going to hit some home runs. He's going to be productive. Whatever they settle on at second base is not, I don't think, going to be a first-team All-American and is probably not going to hit 240 with 6 homers. They're going to be functional at second base. I think they'll be better than Dickinson was last year, honestly, offensively. Milam is going to, I mean, you saw his floor last year, and his ceilings is high, but he's going to be a really solid, productive piece. Stanfield's exactly what he is. Curiel, maybe some more power, but exactly what he is. And Brown's going to be really good. But I could see, as I mentioned last week, I could see Arambidi hitting 240, striking out a bunch. And I can see Arambidi hitting 320 with 14 home runs. Like, yes, he's got that in his toolbox. But there's a big gap there. Wherever he settles, adds length to the lineup or doesn't. And Caraway, I can see a 268 Oregon State hitter coming to the SEC and hitting 248. That's very, very seeable. I can see a player with immense high school talent, with the ability to get white hot like he did last summer, with Jay Johnson's and LSU's resources, player development program, and what they've been able to do with some transfers in here, becoming a much better hitter and reaching his full potential. And the difference between him coming in and not adjusting to the SEC and the difference between that and reaching his full potential is huge. So I believe Friday, a week from Friday, you will see Trent Caraway in the 7 or 8 hole. That's where I think he'll start. I think the top of the order's got Curiel and Milam and Brown. I think it's got York. I think those are the guys at the top of your lineup. I think Stanfield's toward the bottom. I think Aaron Beatty's toward the middle. I think your DH is toward the bottom, and I think Caraway's toward the bottom. That's kind of where I see it right now. And so Caraway will come in with a month to play against pretty mediocre competition. It's not as bad as it looks on paper. Like Northeastern's had a really good program. I think those teams are going to play in Jacksonville are okay, even though they're not big names. Like you're not playing anybody near SEC level, but you're playing some functional teams, but they're lesser than SEC teams. So he gets a month of that in a very low stress spot in the order, 7th or 8th, to keep working on the things he's working on. And if it clicks, this is a huge piece to what LSU's got. A huge piece. He could be a 15 home run guy. That's a big deal. Like there's a world that he leads LSU in home runs. I think it's more likely that's Brown, York, Milam. Could be Dardar. But there's a world where Caraway leads the team in home runs. There's a world where he hits 5th come May. And that's a world where LSU's offense is significantly better than I think it is right now. Because him getting closer to his ceiling is a huge deal for LSU lengthening its lineup. I already know Curiel's good. I already know Milam's good. I already know Stanfield is what he is, and it's a good player. I'm confident that the 3 options they've got at second base, you've got something functional offensively. I think York can play, but I'm not sure about Caraway in the SEC. I'm optimistic. I'm not sure. Those are different things. Now you look at backup to Caraway. Really, it's John Pearson, who I think is going to play some as a DH and a pinch hitter against left-handed pitching because they like him against left-handers. Even though he wasn't great against left-handers last year, they like him in that matchup. And then Reeves can come over. Simpson can come over. They can play some third base if Caraway goes in and needs some time off because he's just not swinging the bat. They've got some options, but right now, I was out there in the fall. I've been out there in preseason. I've seen a lot of Caraway at third base, and that's what you're going to see. If he can put it all together, man, is he a guy that can be a big-time piece to LSU's lineup. But we'll see. It's there's some upside and there's some downside. It's interesting, for sure, at the hot corner for LSU in 2026. That's our opening drive. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Renaissance Homes and Pools. They're online at builtbyrenaissance.com. Looking to get into that pool of your dreams for the summer? They got you covered at Renaissance Homes and Pools. We want an outdoor kitchen to go with that pool this summer? Renaissance Homes and Pools can help you out with that. Joey, I had lunch with him earlier this week. He said, hey, tell everyone to text me. That's what he wants from y'all. You're texting the owner of the company. And that's the way that he'll get back to you pretty quickly. If you can put some specs, put something that you're looking for or the question you may have from Joey, he's most likely to get back to you if you text him, and he can just give you a call really quickly right back. His number is, of course, 225, but it's 252-7745. 225-252-7745. So get your phone out, 225-252-7745. Shoot Joey a text. Say, hey, love to talk to you about a pool. Love to talk to you about an outdoor kitchen. He'd love to do that for you over at Renaissance. You can also find him at builtbyrenaissance.com. We'll step aside. We'll come back, talk to Matthew Brune on some hoops, both men's and women's, next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Vaughn and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Look, safety's a big deal in the bathroom, especially as folks age. There's someone in your life who's aging that you think the bathroom could be a hazard situation for. Consider mitigating that risk. You can't eliminate it, but you can mitigate against it. You can put non-slip floors in. You can put guardrails in slippery spots. You can put a walk-in tub, convenience and comfort, safety. Put a shower with a bench in it to make things a little safer. Those are things that we don't think about all the time, but something that that David Duvall and his team do all the time. They're happy to help you out with that. So I invite you to check them out online. Get that free consultation at onebathandclosets.com, onebathandclosets.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Lane Kiffin set to meet with the local media in about 42 minutes. We'll take that live here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, the top of hour number 2. Matthew Brune will likely be there, but also covering the LSU Hoops teams. We talk to him every single Wednesday and do so now as part of the team at the Bengal Tiger on 3. Matthew, how are you?
Hey, Hunt. I'm doing well. Just like you said, getting ready to go head over to LSU.
Let's talk some hoops here. Deon Thomas does not play over the weekend for LSU in South Carolina. What's your gut tell you about that situation currently?
Yeah, I feel like it's not good for LSU. I think that I know that he re-aggravated it, and he was in pain. He finished out the game, and I think, there's optimism in terms of him returning, but I don't think it'll be in the next week. I feel like it will be a little bit longer than that. So again, they're going to play the waiting game and see how long it'll take. But re-aggravating an injury that held him out for 3 weeks is not that quickly is not something that is going to be optimistic.
How do you think that hurts the general vibe around the team? I just can't imagine that it's very warm and fuzzy there, even though they did win their last game.
No, yeah, it kills a lot of confidence. I mean, we've talked about it before, the experience this team has and whatnot, and I think McMahon's done a fine job in terms of keeping the morale, but there's just no real hope when you go into all this stretch of the season. Individual games you can get up for, but when you look at the big picture, from a program perspective, from a fan perspective, from a player perspective, there's just not a lot to hold on to, and the outlook for the rest of the year is very bleak.
I would agree with that. So we'll leave it after this last question about Georgia. What do you know about Mike White's team that comes into the PMAC on Saturday?
Yeah, I like their team quite a bit. They're on paper, I like them going into the season. They have some size. They're placed an NBA draft pick and Nathan Newell from last year. In terms of They got Blue Kane to come back, a good player on the perimeter. They have shooting. So this is a game that I think I said last week that they had to beat Mississippi State, they had to beat South Carolina, and this would be the real big game in terms of McMahon getting over the hump and turning this thing around. Well, obviously they lost to Mississippi State, which already put a huge damp on the season, and then from there, beating South Carolina doesn't hold nearly as much weight. And so the Georgia win would do something in terms of just getting some momentum, some excitement back, but it won't do enough.
Yeah, you wrote last week that it was time potentially to make a move at some point, this season or after this season. Why did you feel that way?
Yeah, I think that they are. I just think it's kind of past the point. I think Verge Osbury will look at things and try to put in his own, splash into the men's basketball program. I don't think McMahon has the support from a general LSU perspective that he would need to get through another bad season. I think you look at what he's done in 4 years is just on paper not nearly good enough, even if we wanted to talk about how unlucky he's been with injuries and whatnot. Ultimately, the results are the results. And I've been, one to talk about, I think he's a good coach, but ultimately this was always going to be a make or break season. This was going to be a year where they had investments. They had, I think, a good quality roster. And while arguably with DJ Thomas and Jalen Reed, those are their two most expensive players. Those are the two players they paid the most for, both being injured. It's unfortunate, but I think the results are just going to be too much for Verge and others to just sit idly by.
Matthew Brune is our guest, part of the On3 team over there at the Bengal Tiger. All right, Kim Mulkey's team. I mean, the offensive numbers are really gaudy, but something that I noticed looking back, like against Alabama, they held them to 63, held Arkansas to 70, held Florida to 60, held A&M to 54, held a ranked Oklahoma team to 72 on their own floor. Like, do you like the offense more or the defense more?
Ooh, I think I like the offense more still. I will say the defense has taken significant steps forward from where they were, I'd say, like a month or two ago. The defense is to do that to Alabama, who isn't a fantastic offensive team, but that's the number 24 team in the country. To hold them to 34% shooting, to really lock down the paint. They just don't give up anything easy right now. When you have the point of attack defense that they have with Jada Richard and Malaysia Full-Wiley and Flage and so on, I just think they're really, really solid defensively. So it's catching up on that end. But I mean, you look at the offense and the way they can score right now. I mean, they had 5 or 6 in double figures again. They're just so deep, so versatile. They're putting it all together.
What's your biggest concern about this team right now?
It's probably still the forwards, the posts. Going against the top end teams in the country. You look at UCLA, you look at UConn. We'll see against South Carolina in a week or two. I think they're going to be fine rebounding, but I don't know. Like, you go into those games hoping to get neutral with those teams in the front court. I don't think you, like in years past with Angel and Anissa and so on, you would be like maybe LSU has an edge. I don't think LSU has an edge in the front court. I think their edge is in the back court and with their depth. So if anything, I'm curious to see against these bigger teams that can really score and punish on the inside, do they hold up consistently and just can they get neutral in those games?
LSU beat Texas in matchup number 1 here in Baton Rouge, 70-65 win when Texas ranked second in the country. Now they'll go on the road to the Moody Center tomorrow night. How do you feel the Tigers match up in that one?
Yeah, I mean, the win was huge, and I don't think it was fluky because like I said, the guard play for LSU is so good. They're able to handle Texas pressure. Texas is one of the most physical teams in the country. I mean, they are really trying to muck it up. They really try to make you uncomfortable. They deny the ball. They do a lot of good things. But with the guards LSU has, I think they handled the pressure really well. So I think that translates. But, I mean, just like in any sport, in any game, it's hard to beat a really good team twice, and it's definitely hard to beat them on the road in their place. So I would lean Texas right now just because of that, and I think that's still a really good team. And also Madison Booker got in foul trouble a little bit in that first game, so I expect her to have a better performance. But, yeah, I would lean Texas, but I think LSU matches up actually pretty well.
What do you expect to hear from Lane Kiffin in about half an hour?
I expect to hear there's so much to talk about. So it's hard. I mean, he's going to be asked a bunch of questions. I'm curious how long it's going to go more than anything, and I'm curious how thorough his answers are going to be. I mean, we've watched Ole Miss press conferences in the past, and I think he gives fine answers. But, in this setting, this is his first time in a real closed environment here where he's not having to, talk to boosters and, appease fans and stuff like that. It's kind of just should be talking about his team. So I'm curious about the Sam Levitt injury. I'm curious about spring ball, the structure of that. I'm curious about kind of transfer class and their approach. So I think that'll kind of be our jumping off point.
We'll be watching. We'll be reading. Thanks, Matthew.
Thanks, Hunt.
He is Matthew Brune with the Bengal Tiger, part of the team over there at On3, talking a little hoops, and he'll go check out Lane Kiffin here in 35 minutes, and we'll take that live, not in its entirety. I would imagine he will probably go close to a half an hour. We're not going to play half an hour here, but we'll get you 20 minutes or so as he hits the podium coming up at 2:00. So before that, we still got some things to take care of here. We're going to talk at the end of the hour a little bit about some injuries for the Super Bowl with Dr. Chris Bankhead from Oxford, as well as the Olympics, which start up today. Lindsey Vogn's going to ski with no ACL, so we'll see how that goes. We'll talk to him coming up in about 15 minutes. It's What If Wednesday coming up next on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci, go and buy him. Take a tour at Marucci. It's getting close to baseball season, getting close to softball season. If you've got a youth baseball player or softball player in your house, got a youth baseball team that you're a part of, youth softball team you're a part of, do some team building. Go take a tour at Marucci. See where the official bat of Major League Baseball is made. See where they make 1,200 bats every single day. Grab one of those bats. Get in the cage. Check out the hitter's house. It's an awesome facility, and it's right here in Baton Rouge. It's something that's an amazing story. Like 2004, started making bats in the backyard. Now, the best in the world use those bats, and they're made right here in Baton Rouge. So maybe it's your family. Maybe it's a work trip. Maybe it's a class field trip. Maybe it's a team bonding exercise over at Marucci. But go check them out. Book a tour at maruccisports.com/campus-tour. maruccisports.com/campus-tour. Every ticket comes with a 20% discount to the campus tour and the hitter's house as well. So go see them at maruccisports.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday show is brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Also want to remind you about First American Bank and Trust. 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. Means there's always one near you in our part of the world, whether you're here near Baton Rouge, Dutchtown, Jones Creek, over I-12 in Tangipahoa, St. Tammany, maybe down in St. John, St. James, Lafourche Parish. Always a First American Bank and Trust nearest you. It's a community bank. The people that work in those banks, they go to church with you. Their kids play sports with yours. And every decision that's made at First American Bank and Trust is made here in Southeast Louisiana. When you call because you've got a question, you don't get some recording in Atlanta or somebody that's in Seattle that's trying to search frantically for you on the computer. You get somebody that walks around your community with you. So when you're looking to make that call for a loan for your home or your business needs a loan, call First American Bank and Trust. And don't think because I tell you they got great customer service, which they do, that, oh, well, they don't have the ability to handle the things that I need handled. They got 25 locations. They can handle it. It's First American Bank and Trust. Stop into one today. First American Bank and Trust. All right, I'm going to talk to the good folks at Oxner coming up here in 10 minutes. Lane Kiffin set to join us in, not on the show, just literally just meeting with the media, which we will take at a little after 2 o'clock. So we'll look forward to that, and then I'll react to it in the second hour as well. But right now, it's What If Wednesday.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question. What if?
All right, so what if Kim Mulkey wins another national title this year?
I guess the inference there is, does she ride off into the sunset? I don't know. I don't know.
I doubt it.
Kim's got all that energy.
Yep.
I know that Kim loves coaching, and I know that she likes it here. I also know, based on her comments, not me like reading anything, that she is not wild about some of the transfer NIL stuff that she's got to deal with that she didn't deal with for the first, call it 85% of her career. So maybe wanting to go out on top is something that's important to her. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just when I'm tired, I'm tired. And she's not tired right now. They're really good. So she's not tired right now. I don't know the answer to that. I don't think either one would surprise me. I don't think it would surprise me at all if she said that it made her hungrier to win another one. I don't think it would surprise me at all if she said, yeah, I'm good. I'm going to go hang out with the grandkids, and that's enough. I certainly haven't talked to Kim about it, but I think it's interesting. I hope we have to deal with that problem, quite frankly.
No, it's a good problem to have. And honestly, if after all the work she's done, she deserves the opportunity to be like, you know what? I am done. If I want to walk away, I want to walk away from a win. If I want to keep going, I can keep going.
Very few get to do that.
Yeah, a lot of people wish they can go out on their own terms. So what if you could ask Lane Kiffin one question today at today's press conference? Oh, you've been thinking about this one.
So you're not, generally speaking, going to get the God's honest truth in a press conference setting. You're going to get a lot of coach speak more often than not. We got to learn the way that Lane ticks. We got to learn his cadence. We got to learn the way he talks. I mean, we got a little bit of it during the saga in November when we were following. You know what I might ask him?
Yes.
What I think I might get a real answer. Y'all know where I'm going with this. There are going to be so many people that are so irritated by this answer. I might say, what do you think about uniforms?
Oh, really?
Who gets to pick them?
Okay.
Like, do you like the ones LSU currently wears? What do you have plans on what you want to do? Because Ole Miss
That's a good question.
completely revamped its uniforms under Kiffin. They wore shark helmets. They wore a lot
Baby
of
blue.
way more powder.
Yeah.
They wore all whites. Like, forever and ever, Ole Miss wore red, white, and navy, and that was it. And the helmets were navy, and like under Lane, they jazzed it all up. And like, y'all know my feeling. I don't have to reiterate anything. But like, if he does that to LSU, like, I'm going to be real sad about it. But that's just, I mean, I will certainly get right on over it if you go win a bunch of national championships and win a bunch of games. Like, I'll promise I'll get right on over it. But I'm not going to like it if you do. And so maybe, and I think that's a question he might answer. He's not going to tell me exactly what's up with Sam Levitt's foot. He's not going to tell me much verbatim as to what's happened in the portal. He's going to give me a lot of positive commentary on every player they ask about. So I might ask him about the uniforms. I think I get a real answer out of that.
That's actually a really good question. I didn't think you was going to go that way. Honestly, I thought you were going to say you're going to ask him about golf when you said everybody knows I'm about to go with this one.
I don't know if he plays. I don't think he plays golf.
Yeah, he's a pickleball guy. So, no, that's actually a really good question, huh? Because you're right. Like, Ole Miss definitely looks completely different than how they look when I was growing up. So.
And then when Lane left and they played
went
the
back to
playoff
Baby
game
Blue.
to Tulane. Now, they went to Baby Blue in the last two playoff games. When they played Tulane in Oxford, they wore the traditional reds and blues. They went complete to anti-Lane there, which was not an accident.
All right, mine would have to be, what is his process with giving out the number 7 or 18, preferably the number 7, because Brian Kelly made it a thing that it's only a Louisiana guy can get the number 7, but Patrick Peterson's from Florida. So it's like the guy
that was before they did it, though. Peterson just wore that number.
So it's like, is Lane
going
to...
Tyron took it.
But it's like, is Lane going to do the whole, is it only a Louisiana thing? So that's probably what mine would be like. Or are you doing the Louisiana thing, or is it the best guy, the playmaker, gets number 7? So what if McDonald's was never created to begin the fast food insanity run?
Got that one on Twitter.
That would hurt my feelings.
Look, I'm not afraid to admit this in any way, shape, or form. I love fast food. I think it's all awesome. I think it's great. Like, I love fast food. I love fast food breakfast. I love fast food lunch. I love fast food dinner. I don't eat it very often because it's just not,
it destroys you,
and not great to eat.
But it hits the spot.
It's awesome. Yeah. I mean, we've got right next to the building a Sonic and a McDonald's. And if health and finances were not involved in any way, shape, or form, and you told me I had to eat one of those two every day for lunch, I could do it in a heartbeat. Wouldn't even think twice about it. I love fast food. So if McDonald's had never invented the concept and you had to sit there and wait for every food, first of all, this is going to go down a whole tangent, but that's kind of the point of the whole thing. If I had to sit down in a restaurant on every road trip, I would freak out. I don't want to do that. Get the food, let's go. When we're going to the beach and my wife demands that we get out of the car and sit down at Chick-fil-A, I want to lose my brain. I want to lose it. There's 4 travel baseball teams in there. There's 500 kids running around. The food's not even that great. It drives me nuts. I want to get the food and go. So half the time, we're just working off efficiency. And if I'm going to the beach, I don't need to stop for 45 minutes to eat a chicken sandwich or a burger and some French fries. Get in the car, let's go. Like, that's what I need. So if we lost that ability on road trips, I would be a sad guy.
No, I agree, man. What's your number 1? McDonald's your number 1? That's your go-to?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I mean, in terms of like taste, I'd have to get, there's a lot of different.
It's your cheat day. What are you doing? What's your number 1 go-to, like fast food? Where are you going?
Best fast food burger.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. I mean, it's probably Shake Shack.
Okay.
And second, closely, is going to be Whataburger. I love Whataburger.
I love Whataburger. I just had it last week, matter of fact. I love Whataburger.
But I've told y'all this many times. My real fast food, like, guilty pleasure is breakfast.
Okay.
Sausage, egg, and cheese biscuits, breakfast burritos, hash browns, tater tots, the whole deal. All of them are good. Burger King's got the croissant witch that's like overloaded. It's awesome.
You know ball.
I mean, Sonic's got the breakfast burrito that's killer.
Taylor loves those.
I love McGriddles. I love
McGriddles.
sausage, egg, and cheese at McDonald's. Like all phenomenal.
Yes. Okay. You know ball with the croissants. You are actually on ball with that. So, what if you could pick the broadcast team for the Super Bowl? What are you going?
I'm perfectly fine with Buck and Aikman.
I do like that.
I like them. You know who sounds like a big game to me? I hear him. It sounds like a big game.
Yes.
Sean McDonough. I like Sean McDonough. I think he's called a lot of he called the Warren Morris game, by the way, in '96 that was on NBC, CBS at the time. But he's done a lot of ESPN. He does some college football playoff. He did Burrow going nuts with Jefferson in the Peach Bowl against Oklahoma.
Okay.
Look, I don't have a problem with Fowler and Herb Street, but like I like McDonough, and if I'm going with a color analyst, I don't mind Aikman. I don't mind Herb Street. Here's the deal with me on broadcast teams, and he's great. Yeah. I think the people there are two things that make me furl my brow at you and think, I don't know if we're going to see eye to eye on a lot of sports stuff. If you're one of the fans that hates like 5 broadcasters and constantly talks about officials, we're probably not going to see eye to eye. Doesn't make you a bad person.
Yes.
It just means we're not going to level. I never talk about officials, almost never. I talked about officials when they gave Devin White a targeting. I talked about officials when they ejected Coastal Carolina's coach in the first inning of the championship game. But I rarely talk about officials because I think that's the lowest hanging fruit. And I don't talk about broadcast teams. Everyone, this guy hates LSU. This guy hates that. That to me is it's kind of childish. I don't get on board with it. I like most of the broadcast teams. There are very few that I find bad. Brian Jordan did some college baseball once upon a time and was really bad at it. And there are plenty of bad on-desk analysts on talk shows.
Oh yeah.
But as far as the folks that are calling the games, I rarely have a big problem with it.
I'm gonna be honest. This is gonna be a hot take because a lot of people don't like him, but I really like Gus Johnson and Joe Klatt on Fox.
I like Gus on basketball more than football.
Oh yeah, okay.
Basketball gets him moving a little bit more quickly. In football, I feel like he's setting things up.
He's just waiting for the screen.
I know.
Yes, he's waiting for the screen.
But basketball doesn't let you sit. It makes you got to keep going.
Go.
So I think and that's where Gus made his mark in March Madness.
Yes.
The Gonzaga, the slipper still fits, the Morrison, there's a great YouTube video that I'm sure it's still there. I used to watch it in college where it was it's Bynum to the bucket, Hall the runner, Batista with the catch. I can still hear it. I watched it so many times. I love Gus.
Yes.
I like him in basketball more than football.
Okay. Well, that's it for What If Wednesday.
That's it for What If Wednesday. So we will take a time out here shortly and get to our Oxford segment. But let me tell you about Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Of course, we've been telling you about them for years here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. If you want a home standby generator, get a Generac from the folks at Boudreaux's Electrical. They are locally owned and operated. Neil and Melissa have been running the show for more than 40 years. Down in the 985, they've got you. Here in the 225, they've got you. Over in the 504, they've got you as well. You always know it's just such a bummer when that storm blows through, whether it's an afternoon storm in July or August or a hurricane, which we get as well, and the power goes down, especially if you're trying to watch the big game. You got people over, and all of a sudden, you got no power. Don't let that happen. The folks at Boudreaux's Electrical can make that happen. And what sets apart Boudreaux's Electrical from the big box stores, the national brands that you can get a generator from, is that they're going to service that generator wonderfully. They're going to be here when you need them. They're going to be here when you pick up the phone. They're part of the community as well. It's Boudreaux's Electrical. It's the Boudreaux's Boost. So if you've bought a generator from one of the big box stores and you've already got one, but you're not happy with the service you're getting, the Boudreaux's Boost can help you out with that for sure. So visit them online at boudreauxelectrical.com. That's boudreauxelectrical.com. Come back and talk some injury with Oxner next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge, swingeasygcbr.com, swingeasygcbr.com. Want a different way to watch the Super Bowl? Watch it at Swing Easy. You can hit some golf balls, drink some beers. They'll get you a bucket of beers brought right over to your bay. Individual, you got couches, got the TV, you can crank some tunes, hit some golf shots. Or if you're just looking to kill some time before the big game coming up, Swing Easy Golf Club is a great way to do that. You can play Pebble Beach, you can play Cypress Point, you can play TPC Sawgrass. TPC New Orleans is on that list as well. It's a great place to hang out and just play a little bit of golf in a different way. You play 18 holes, doesn't take 5 hours to do it. You can play with 5 guys. You can play with guy and girl. You can play with 3. You can play by yourself. Go check them out on Siegen at Perkins. Swing Easy Golf Club. They're online at swingeasygcbr.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Closing up hour number 1 here on this Wednesday. It's Sports Health, presented by Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. And from Ochsner, welcome on to the program, Dr. Christopher Bankhead. He specializes in orthopedic sports medicine at Ochsner. Joins us on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Dr. Bankhead, thanks for the time. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, huh?
It's our pleasure. A lot of folks are going to be watching anxiously on Sunday. Got a little money on the table, and they're thinking, well, what do we know about Drake May's shoulder? I'm sure you don't know much of anything specifically about Drake May's shoulder, but it's been the biggest injury talking point of Super Bowl week. What can you tell us about what may be going on after 20 weeks of playing NFL football?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was I think it was pretty clear on the play when it happened. I remember watching it live. You kind of saw him grimace. It looked like it was kind of an tackle, or maybe he scrambled out of the pocket a little bit and got landed on awkwardly. They kind of released a statement saying that he was held out of practice, and then now all of a sudden, I think he practiced fully, he's throwing well. He seems to be kind of dismissing it a little bit. I mean, I think everyone's hoping it's something small, something not structural that is going to allow him to play up to his full potential. I mean, everyone wants a good game. I think from my perspective, I would worry, is it going to affect his velocity, his ability to throw downfield? They should be able to see all that stuff in practice, so I think they're pretty on top of that. The other question I think that everyone has that we'll have to wait and see is it going to affect his, willingness to take a hit? Is he going to scramble? Is he going to want to get out of the pocket? That, I think, only time will tell. We'll have to wait and see for that.
Certainly will. All indications are that he will certainly play. We'll just see how effective he is. I was fascinated by this story as the Olympics crank up this week. And Lindsey Vonn has tried to make a comeback there and then tears her ACL. And everyone kind of thinks, well, I guess that's the end of that. And then, no, I'm still going to compete. That blows my mind that someone's going to jump out there in the Olympics with a torn ACL. What can you tell us about that situation?
Man, that's unbelievable. It's like, honestly, I mean, you hear some stories like that. I think that, you hear I think Phillip Rivers a few years ago, maybe in a playoff game, played with a torn ACL. But I don't know that he was going 70 miles an hour or however fast they go down a mountain. The thing is that I always kind of think about is, well, all the swelling in her knee, are her muscles able to turn on? That's kind of initially after an injury like that, that's kind of our biggest concern. A lot of people get this large effusion in their knee. The ACL tears and it bleeds. It's got a blood supply, and then that tends to kind of turn off your quad muscles a little bit. People need crutches. They need kind of help walking around. It doesn't move very well. She's thankfully, not doing a lot of true cutting and pivoting, even though she is on skis. And so presumably she's practiced and she's giving it a go. I mean, I've seen some reports. She's doing box jumps. She's doing weighted, all kinds of stuff, and is ready to give it a go. I mean, it's unbelievable. She's 40 too, which is crazy. The other thing that's unbelievable about her is she had a partial knee replacement on her other side, which I think is just adds to the kind of legendary status of her ability to kind of recover and persevere.
Is the ACL stability more than anything? Is that kind of what it's there for, and that's what theoretically what would be compromised here? Yes.
So it really affects your ability to pivot and turn, right? Okay. So going in a straight line, most people are okay. But as soon as you start to add some side-to-side agility, that's when it starts to be an issue. She's kind of strapped in there. Her knees are clearly going to be rotating and turning. That's kind of mostly what it does. It keeps your tibia from sliding forward and then also from spinning. And so as she's making these, sharp turns at high speeds, that's where you kind of are going to be holding your breath and hoping that thing holds up. And her other muscle stability around there is going to be enough to keep her in place. Now, she said she was going to be braced up, and so, we'll kind of wait and see how she's able to do. But I agree, man. It's unbelievable.
Fascinating story for sure. Before we let you go, you got a Super Bowl pick for us?
I mean, I'm definitely keeping my eye on all the LSU guys that are playing for the Patriots.
we'll see how they do. Our guy Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net, sat down with Will Campbell a little bit earlier. Going to be a big, big day for him. We appreciate the time, Dr. Bankhead.
All right, thank you.
That's Christopher Bankhead, orthopedic surgery with Ochsner. I get the sense, like, I don't know anything. He certainly knows everything about the knee that you need to know, and I don't know anything about skiing, really, or the Olympics. But I get the sense that Lindsey Vohn's going, my ACL's torn, whatever. Next time they do this, I'm 44 and I can't come. So if it blows, if something gets worse, at least I tried. It's your last chance to do it, is what I gather.
No, it's commendable, and it just shows you how athletes are just not real humans, because there's no way I could even think about hopping on a ski, nonetheless moving my body after tearing my ACL. No.
I don't even know what I know she's downhill. Like, that feels like it's a lot of left and right. Whatever.
We could have been uphill, downhill. I cannot move my leg after tearing my ACL.
Here's my thing. I've never been snow skiing before.
Me either.
A lot of my friends love to go snow skiing. I've never been. I don't really have a lot of interest because I don't want to tear my ACL. That's what it seems like you're going to do. Like, I'm a functional person when it comes to hand-eye coordination and relative athleticism. I'm not going to go do a 360 dunk anytime soon, but I can play some pickleball or something. Like, fine, I can do whatever. But I've gotten up on water skis once. I'm bad at water sports that have my knees like anchored and my legs like anchored, and I've never tried anything snow. I don't think I'm going to. Maybe that's a detriment to my kids. Maybe I'll take them. They can hit the bunny slopes. Yeah. They got bars in the mountains. They can go to the ski school, and I'll hit the bars. That's fine with me. I don't really want to be out in the cold anyway. But skiing, not my thing. I just think in terms of Lindsey Vonn here, it's like I'm gonna give it a go. Like, I'm never gonna get to do this again. No, if she was 17, it'd be one thing. At 40,
this is it.
Last swing. Go get them. So. Thanks to Dr. Bankhead for giving us a little time. We are done here in hour number 1. Missed any of it, including my LSU baseball third base preview, you can go check it out on demand. Just search Hunt Palmer Show. We're going to step aside for national sports headlines, and we'll come back in hour 2. Lane Kiffin is scheduled to meet with the press at 2 o'clock. Whenever he does that, we'll take it. Until he does that, we'll talk a little bit more LSU football after Sports Center on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Fabry Chevrolet GMC. I got deals. I've got deals. And you can get deals if you head up Highway 61 in St. Francisville. All 2026 GMC Sierras are $13,000 off MSRP or 0% APR financing for well-qualified buyers. You heard that right. $13,000 off MSRP for GMC Sierras. All 2026 Chevy Silverados, the 1500s, they're offering $11,000 off MSRP or 1.9% APR financing for well-qualified buyers. Looking for a GMC Sierra? They've got one. Looking for a Chevy Silverado? They got one, and you can save 5 figures off MSRP at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You can check out the inventory at FabryChevrolet.com. Go see them, Highway 61 in St. Francisville, just up the road, or online at FabryChevrolet.com.